previous videos, or the previous video, I showed you how to get rid of the silver grey organic fungus staining on wood. This is my garage, which doesn't have it. It was on the fence and the gate, you might remember. But what this does suffer from is this, and that is caused by the zinc plating of fittings, which the wood seems to suck the zinc off and they go rusty. And also the screws that they give you are also zinc plated and very cheaply coated in zinc, and it just comes away and stains, and the metal colour goes into the wood grain, soaking down when it's wet, and causes a grey stain. Now you can't get rid of it as such. I tried rust, rust remover like you put on a car, rust spot, doesn't work. Probably doesn't do the wood any good either, having a strong acid on it. So what I have found over the years, because this garage has been up since about 2007 maybe, and it's still wood coloured, bar that, which makes it look terrible. But if we look here, this one's not so bad. I don't know why that was not so bad. I'm not sure if the camera can pick this one up, but this one's almost completely gone. And that's for two reasons. One, you don't use the manufacturer's screws. There's a sort of replacement, which I'm not going to use. I just want this bit, the bottom bit. I don't want the hook. It's too short. If you compare the hook they supply with that one, it's too short. And that one's still okay. But these ones here are completely rusty. So all I'm going to use is that bit and the screws that supplied with them in the bin. Don't need them. What you do want as a screw fix are the stainless steel ones. Can I see that? Screw fix has got loads of stainless steel screws. They're not rare anymore. They're not expensive anymore. You can get a couple of hundred for a couple of quid. So that's what you want, and they look like those. And they fit in there. This is a what? This is. I prefer to use old school number 8s and 10s and things, but they're all sold in millimetres now. So it's a 4mm or number 4 times 25mm long, which is an inch. So that's about the right size. Fits in there nice and flush. So the stainless won't corrupt any wood, or I don't think it'll do the stainless this end either. So that stops one staining, and the other way to stop it staining is to do this. On my gate that I showed you earlier, on the back, I'll show a still photograph of that later, you could paint it. What you want to do is put a barrier between the metal and the wood. The wood, when it's damp, well, zinc is supposed to stop rust. It does up to a point, but it's what's known, as I'm an engineer, called sacrificial. It gives itself up to protect the steel from going rusty, but if it keeps giving itself up, eventually there isn't any zinc left, and then the steel will rust. So it's only a temporary thing. That's why stainless is better. It's rust proof forever. So to put a barrier between there, yes, you could paint it, but painting zinc, you need a special primer, which you've seen in anyone that looks at my model railway stuff. You need an acid etch primer, all that nonsense, which is a lot of trouble, because if you remember Garadors, the paint they supplied, because they were zinc plated, it flakes off, it doesn't stick. So a simple way around it, and it can't fall off because it's clamped between the wood and it, is simple electrical, car, whatever, insulating tape. I just happen to have a brown one, probably used for the brown, what is it, brown? Is that, no, it's neutral these days, I don't know. It's all changed since it was red, green and black. So you literally just put and coat it with that, coat it, put it on the back, push it down. Some I've pre-done. And the other bit at the top, 3 bits of that. Cover one of these. Remember, this is a preventative, so anyone building a new garage, putting new fixes on, do this. Yes, you can. I think, and I'm doing it to these old ones here. This is one, that was what came off of here, that one. And I'm going to replace it with that one. If you do replace, make sure you get the holes in the same size, I mean the same pitch. You might have to bend the brackets. These things are very badly made. They're probably made in India or somewhere, as cheap as chips, and they're not the same. Look at this packet here, you can see that the size of that square there is not the size of that square there. Yeah, those holes are meant to be the same pitch as those, and they're not. You have to put them in a vise and pull them apart a bit. Put that on either with a razor blade, or in my case a very sharp small pair of scissors. Actually make it look neat. Brown's probably preferable because its wood is brown, the tape is brown. So I cut that up. I don't suppose you need video evidence of me doing this really, but I'm doing it anyway, live, so there you go. Press it down like that. There we go. Don't need to poke holes in it, the screws will do that. That's all it needs to be. The lens can see that. Nothing special, because the clamping force of the screws pull it in and hold it in place. So you've got to smooth the tape out thoroughly to make sure I'll get this tape off my hands now. Good. Right, so now another thing, which these things tend to rust first on this bit. That bit rusts later, which you should be able to see there. That bit's rusty, that bit around the outside, the flange if you like, isn't. So one way I think to stop that, if you look at that, it's dead square. So rainwater comes down and it sits on there, and in the winter it probably sits on there for days. So trick up my sleeve, hit it with a hammer or bung it in the vise and bend it down so the water can run off. See the difference? That's good, make sure we're down here so you can see, I don't know. Okay. And as for that one, you've got to be careful doing this. I assume you can see me do it, I don't know. Just with that sort of hammer. There we go. That's all it needs. So that bends it downhill. Doesn't affect how it works. That still comes up. It will still go into the door. Into that, which I'll just that's changed. So now I'm just going to put it back in. And then over time, any more water that gets on there, hopefully this will leach down and eventually disperse like this one has. That used to be like that. This one, and it just eventually just faded away. So maybe, and it'll make the building look better, wouldn't it? I'll supposedly set this up to the same pitch as screws using this nickel cadmium battery Black & Decker screwdriver, very old, doesn't last long on a charge. This is one of the very first British electric screwdrivers that I'm aware of. Anyway, come on, pretty nice. Get them started and put it back in here. And the bottom ones, hopefully they're the same holes. hook into that. And they're both now sloping downhill. So I could keep that for some use, I don't know. Alright, there we go. I'm not doing that one now. I'll just show that so you can see that was worth photographing. That one was really bad. It makes the whole building look terrible. It's a shame because I've got a lot of trouble to try and keep this looking nice and wood coloured, and you get that abomination. But hopefully that will disappear in a year or so. Assuming I'm still alive. Right. Thanks for watching, and I'll show you a few still photographs of brass ones. Brass ones don't stain. You can get them, buy them instead for these hook things. Much better. They don't stain at all. Great. I'll show you a picture of that. There's the shed workshop thingy. It's now been sprayed with the cuprinol on this side anyway, and Barentine's other surfaces, and well, that's what it looks like. The coloration is slightly richer, more yellowy than what it was just cleaned with the sodium hypochlorite. So it's looking all right. Again, this is actually the video for getting rid of those zinc stains. I'm filming both videos simultaneously and I get confused which one I'm filming. Some bits are interchangeable. So, you may remember I dealt with how to deal with that there by putting the tape on the back, and hopefully those stains going down will eventually, in a year or two, dissipate and go away. But what you might have noticed, up on the barge boards, the screws that hold the barge boards on, well, as you can see, they're just round head slotted, and they were zinc coated. About they're 2-inch long number 10s, I think they are. They're proper wood screws, not the ones that are screwed right up to the head. So they're designed for clamping, and round head screws are designed to clamp. Most screws available these days tend to be, at least in enough lengths that are useful and diameters, are countersunk, which are no good for clamping. They tend to split the wood. They just bury them heads into the wood. No good at all. So what I have done on these is put a little stainless steel washer underneath, which has helped a little bit. It's not as bad staining as it was. You can see that's faded a bit on that pair, but they still don't look good. So I'm going to show you that if you've got a nice new shed and you don't want to have this happen to you because the zinc has migrated, I think that's the correct term, and then leached into the wood as it sacrifices itself to the wood through weathering, and eventually, as you can see, the heads are gone rusty. But the screws are still perfectly serviceable as screws, but they just don't look good on the wood, do they? So I'm going to show you how to deal with that. Now, over at the little outdoor workbench, it's a handy little item in its own right, I'm going to swap those screws over for stainless steel ones. So, Ultra screws make, I think I got it for the Screw Fix, but they make stainless steel screws, and I want 2-inch long ones, and the equivalent of a number 10 is a M5, as in 5mm diameter, and they look like, get this one here, they look like that. Where are we? There, on the black. There we go. Quite nice screws, but they're threaded right up to the head. Right, but as you see, they're countersunk, and that countersink there will push into the wood and split it. It won't clamp properly, so you need to convert it into something that will clamp. I could just add a normal washer under there, which will get stuck halfway up the taper, the countersink, and jam it, but it won't look very clever. It'll do the job, but it won't look clever. I found a company who makes the real, what you really want to do this, to spread it and clamp properly. Now, it's a company called Accu. You won't find them in Screwfix, I don't think. It's a proper engineering company which specialise in stainless steel fixings. So you may have seen this type of thing in DIY shops, which are the pressed metal ones. So they're just a sheet of metal being pressed, but they got a sharp rim there that will just cut and punch its way on and damage the wood. What you really want is that to be solid metal, so it clamps like a big washer. And they make such a thing, as you can see. This one, turn it over and you see it's solid metal. Is that in focus? I think so, it is now, right. So this one I applied earlier to this one. Oh, that's a bit good against the white, isn't it? And you see, you push it up and it'll clamp. It looks like a great big, I forget what you call those type of heads that look like that. A bit like a button head, I suppose. But it's a flat, so it can't bury into the wood, it'll compress the wood with that flat surface, and then therefore it will clamp. And as this is screwed into the end grain, you need a long screw. The existing ones are 2 inches that I'm going to take out, and these are 2 inches to put back in. So I'll do that, and then you can see what the old screw looks like and the damage that gets done through corrosion. A few wobbles as I climb the step ladder. This camera's mounted to the top of the step ladder with one of those monkey thingies with 3 arms that wrap round things. It's not the most. Alright, can I get at this? Are we still filming alright? Yeah. So anyway, here's the old fixings. And they're slotted, so they have a habit of camming out, so I have to be very careful how I do this with my old Black & Decker screwdriver. How's that? Can you see what I'm doing? Yes, you can. Good. Cam straight out, you see. Better to start these things off manually like this. Ooh, even that cam's out. So I use these screws, these slotted things, especially on round heads. The bit it drives on is on the shallowest bit of the edges, which is naturally useless. Even though they look nice in furniture, they're no good for if they need to be taken out every now and again. Useless things. Alright, that's got them started. So alright, and this one. Should just come out now. Yeah. And now you should be able to see the little stainless steel washer I put on there. But you can also see the very black mark that the zinc has made where it was in intimate contact before I put the stainless steel washer on there. Yeah, now you can see the state of those screws. Where are we? Okay. Not very good. Anyway, in good fashion, I'm putting in new screws in wood using some hard furniture polish. Can you see that? Oh, there we go. Yeah. This is ancient. There's a bit of hard furniture polish, and you put a bit of it on the screw, down the threads like that. Okay, that's good practice. It's not essential, but it makes it go in better. Right. I'll do that to the 2 screws I'm going to put in here. the other one. Let's do that. There you go, there's enough on there. Just a slight lubricant, and it also protects the wood internally. Right. So I know that this is a 5mm, and the ones that came out, just for comparison. Let's put them up together. You can see I put them upside down so the washers go to the head and not. There you can see you should be able to see those against the light. Okay, how close can we get? About like that. See? And look how much bigger that head now becomes with that countersunk adapter thingy, whatever they're called. So, feed them in like that. So remember, a number 10 metric equivalently is 5mm. They're almost identical in size. I know this because I'm supposedly an expert in nuts and bolts in aerospace. So there we go. Put it back in. Don't overdo it because it's going in an existing thread. There we go. That'll do. Does that look better? I think it does. Now I've got to do that all over. Yeah, you can even see there, that hole there. That's what the bloke who assembled it did, I think. He just put them randomly on here, and I've redone them in a nice, neat order, so they align nicely with the middle of with the bits that stick out, the main internal beams. So there you go. Put that down there.